The town that vanished. I don't even know where to begin, but I have to get this off my chest. I'm not looking for attention or likes or whatever dopamine rush people chase online. Honestly, I just need someone to read this and believe me. Because the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to question my own sanity. My name's Matt, 32 female. I'm a freelance photographer. Mostly nature stuff, abandoned places, storm chasing, wildlife in obscure regions. I've seen some weird crap. I've walked through ghost towns, gotten lost in snow-covered forests, nearly been swept away by a flash flood in New Mexico. But nothing, and I mean nothing, has shaken me like what I experienced 2 weeks ago. It started with a tip from another photographer I know through Instagram. He goes by Our Sightseer Rob. We've never met in person, but we've exchanged leads and coordinates before. He messaged me out of the blue. Ever heard of Whitlock, Oregon? Not on any modern maps. Middle of nowhere. Heard it's a preserved 1800s town. Might be a cool shoot. I tried looking it up. Google Maps came up blank. A few Reddit threads mentioned it in passing, but nothing solid. Just vague directions and conflicting coordinates. Which, of course, made me want to go even more. I was already planning a trip up through the Pacific Northwest to catch some foggy coastlines and mossy woods. Seemed like the perfect detour. My girlfriend Dana wasn't thrilled. She hates when I go off-grid. Can't you just shoot the ocean for once like a normal person? I promised I'd be back in 3 days. Told her I'd stick to paved roads and send a location pin when I got there. She rolled her eyes but kissed me goodbye. Big mistake. On both our parts. Whitlock was strange from the start. The drive was uneventful until I hit the last 30 miles. My GPS freaked out. It rerouted 3 times, then lost signal completely. I followed handwritten notes I'd made from the Reddit coordinates, driving deeper into thick, looming forest. No signs, no cell towers, just pine trees and silence. Then, like something out of a damn Stephen King novel, the trees parted, and I saw it. A pristine little town nestled in a valley. Old-timey buildings with wooden signs, a general store, a post office, a tiny schoolhouse with peeling white paint. Everything looked like it had been frozen in time, not abandoned, not ruined, just untouched. But here's the thing. It wasn't empty. There were cars parked along the dirt roads, lights on in some windows, smoke coming from a few chimneys. It looked alive, except there wasn't a single person in sight. I parked near what looked like the town square and stepped out, camera slung over my shoulder. The air smelled clean. Too clean. Like pine and something else. Antiseptic, maybe? Hello? I called out. Nothing. I walked up to the general store. The door creaked open easily. The shelves were stocked, canned goods, old-fashioned candy, even some fresh produce that hadn't started to rot. But no cashier, no music, just the faint hum of an old fridge in the back. I tried a few more buildings, same deal. Everything ready for daily life. But no life. I started snapping photos. Figured maybe people were just inside, avoiding some weirdo with a Nikon poking around their town. That's when I noticed something really off. No clocks. Not a single one. Every building I checked, schoolhouse, diner, even the church. The clocks were either missing or frozen at the exact same time. 4:17. I checked my phone, still no signal. The time just said, like the battery had been pulled, even though it was fully charged when I arrived. And then I heard it. A faint sound, far off. Not footsteps, not voices. More like humming, not mechanical. Human. A slow, tuneless hum. I turned toward the sound, walking past the town square and down a side street. It grew louder, still distant, but definitely there. Constant. I followed it past a row of houses, down a narrow dirt path that led toward a cluster of trees. Then it stopped. Just gone. Like someone flipped a switch. I stood there, heart pounding, in total silence. Even the birds weren't chirping anymore. That's when I noticed the sign nailed to a tree nearby. Weathered, faded lettering. Whitlock welcomes the obedient. I wish I could say I left then. That I got in my car, noped out, and never looked back. But I didn't. I was too curious. Too stupid. And part of me felt like if I turned around now, something would be behind me. I kept walking, and that's when I found the cemetery. That's when things really started to go wrong. Part 2, coming soon. The cemetery. The cemetery was old. That's not unusual. I've wandered through a lot of forgotten places. But this one felt wrong in a way I can't explain. There were no gravestones, just simple wooden markers. Rows and rows of them, each carved with a single name and a date. No birth date, no inscriptions, just a name and one date. And all of them, every single one, read the same day, April 17th, 1956. There must have been over 100 markers. I walked slowly, camera forgotten around my neck, reading them one by one. Sarah Whitley, April 17th, 1956. Thomas Avery, April 17th, 1956. Elias Rourke, April 17th, 1956. It was like the entire town had died on the same day. But the buildings weren't in ruins. The food wasn't rotten. The smoke still rose from the chimneys. I tried to take a photo, but the camera screen glitched. A static ripple distorted the image, and then nothing. It just went black. I shut it off and turned it back on. Dead. So I reached for my phone. Same thing. The screen flickered, then faded to black. My hands started shaking. I've never felt fear like that. Not even during a lightning storm that nearly struck my tent last year. This wasn't natural fear. It felt placed. Like something wanted me to feel it. I backed away from the cemetery slowly, heart thudding so loud I could hear it in my ears. As I turned to leave, I noticed something else. A small shed at the edge of the tree line, half concealed by overgrowth. Its door was open just a crack. I should have left. I know I should have. But I didn't. I approached slowly, every part of my brain screaming at me to run. The door creaked as I nudged it open further. Inside was a chair, a single wooden chair, and ropes, frayed, dangling from the armrests like someone had been tied there. The wood beneath the chair was scratched to hell, deep grooves, as if someone had tried desperately to escape. On the wall opposite the chair, something had been carved into the wood. Obey and stay, question and perish. I stumbled back, tripping over my own feet, and ran. I didn't look back. I sprinted all the way to the square where my car was parked. Only, it wasn't. I swear to you, I parked it right beside the old fountain. But when I got there, the fountain was still there. Only the car was gone. I spun in circles, scanning every side street, every alley, thinking maybe I'd gotten turned around. But the town looked different now. The sun had dipped lower, casting long shadows. The buildings felt wrong, like they had shifted just slightly when I wasn't looking. And then the humming started again. Only this time, it wasn't distant. It was everywhere. I don't remember running. I just remember the forest. Branches whipping my face, the ground uneven beneath my boots, breath burning in my lungs. Eventually, the humming faded. The air cleared. I collapsed onto the forest floor, soaked in sweat and shaking. That night, I found an old fire road and followed it until I reached a ranger station, boarded up, but with an emergency satellite phone box. I called Dana. She answered on the first ring, sobbing. She thought I was dead. I'd been gone 7 days. But I swear on everything. I was only in Whitlock for a few hours. I don't sleep much anymore. And when I do, I hear that humming. And yesterday, I got a DM on Instagram from Odd Sightseer Rob. Just a photo. Grainy, taken through trees. It was me standing outside that shed. Part 3 coming soon. The followers. I didn't sleep the night I got that photo. I just stared at it. My grainy outline, standing by that shed, my hands down at my sides, head slightly turned. But here's the thing. I don't remember anyone else being there. I was alone. Or I thought I was. I messaged Rob immediately. "Where did you take this?" No reply. I tried again. Still nothing. His account went dark shortly after. Posts gone. Username changed to user not found. I don't know if it was deleted or if someone deleted it. I started researching Whitlock again. Old forums, archived pages, public records. I even reached out to a university library in Oregon, pretending I was doing historical research. The librarian who emailed me back said there was a Whitlock registered in the 1800s, a mining town that sprang up fast and disappeared even faster. One source claimed the entire population vanished sometime in April 1956. No confirmed cause, no media coverage, nothing. Officially, it was deemed a logistical error. They said the census overcounted, but I don't buy that. I was still digging when Dana came home early from work last Thursday. She stood in the doorway, pale as a ghost. "There's someone outside." I ran to the window. Sure enough, a man was standing across the street. Too far away to make out features, just standing there. When I opened the door, he turned and walked away. No car, no bike, just disappeared down the sidewalk like he'd never been there. The next morning, I found a note slid under the door. "You went where you weren't invited." That's when I told Dana everything. I showed her the photos, the message from Rob, the map I'd printed out with Whitlock circled in red. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she said, "Matt, I think you brought something back." She showed me the bruises, circular marks on her wrist, like rope burns. I hadn't tied her, I hadn't touched her, but the shape of the marks matched the ones I saw on the arms of that chair in the shed. That night, I heard humming. Faint, just under the surface of silence. Dana heard it too. We lay there in the dark, frozen, holding hands like kids hiding from monsters. I think we're being watched. I think they, whoever they are, know I saw too much. Maybe I opened something by going there. Today, I got another message. From a burner account. No profile photo, no followers. They were never gone. They're just waiting. There was an attachment, a video. It showed a woman walking through the same cemetery I saw. Only the sky was darker. The markers were newer. And in the last frame, she turned to the camera and whispered, "April 17th. It's always April 17th. I paused the video. In the background, near the trees, I saw a shadow. A tall figure, watching her. And I swear to God, it looked just like me. Part 4 coming soon. Echoes. I showed Dana the video. We sat in silence as it looped again and again. That woman stepping through the cemetery, her voice cracking on that last whisper. It's always April 17th. Dana didn't say anything for a while. Then she reached for her phone and pulled up her calendar. "Matt, today is April 14th. We stared at the date. I felt something in my chest drop. A sense of countdown. Like something irreversible was approaching. That night, we barely slept. The humming returned just past 2 a.m., but this time it didn't stop. It swelled and rolled under the floorboards like a low, vibrating growl. Every clock in our house, even the digital ones, froze at 4:17. I checked the circuit breaker. Nothing was tripped. I unplugged every clock. Still, 4:17. Dana begged me to leave. She wanted to pack bags and drive anywhere. Her sister's in California, maybe. But something kept me tethered. Not fear exactly. Not curiosity either. It felt compelled. Like a magnet was drawing me towards something I needed to see. The next day, I got another message. From Rob. Or, at least, it looked like him. The username was different. Blank profile. Just the letter W. The message was short. You've seen them now. You hear them. You can't leave. Attached was another photo. This one of my backyard. Dana was in it, standing still on the porch, and behind her, in the trees, were several figures, blurred and tall, almost blending with the bark, like they were part of the trees. Dana hadn't left the house all day. I ran outside. Nothing. No footprints. No signs of anything. But the humming. It felt thicker now, like the air was vibrating. I drove us to a motel 2 towns over. Dana stayed inside while I sat in the parking lot for hours, trying to think, trying to remember exactly what I saw in Whitlock, what I might have touched, what I might have brought back. That's when I remembered the rock. Near the cemetery, under one of the markers, something had glinted. A flat black stone, smooth and warm despite the cold. I had pocketed it, didn't think much of it at the time. I called home. No answer. When I returned to the motel room, Dana was gone. No sign of struggle, no note. Her keys and bag were still there. Her phone sat on the nightstand, but the humming had stopped. I opened her phone. One unsent text draft. I think they're inside now. I don't know what to do. I don't even know why I'm writing this. I just know the date. April 17 is in 3 days, and the clocks are still stuck at 4:17. Part 5 coming soon. The Return, April 15th. I didn't report Dana missing. I didn't call her family. I didn't even cry. I know how that sounds, but it's like my emotions are being siphoned off, like some part of me is going hollow from the inside. I don't think this is just about a place anymore. Whitlock isn't just a town, it's a pattern, a hunger. I drove back. I don't remember making the decision. I just remember being behind the wheel, the black stone warm in my palm, the road ahead bleeding into forest. Whitlock was there again, waiting. Same buildings, same eerie perfection. But this time, no smoke from the chimneys, no cars, no sound at all, until I crossed the town line. Then the humming returned. It started in my ears, then behind my eyes, like pressure building. My phone buzzed. No service, but a new photo had appeared in the gallery. It was me, again. Standing at the cemetery gates. Only this time, Dana was beside me. Pale. Still. Her eyes completely black. I parked in the same spot by the fountain, if it was the same, and stepped out. I followed the same path toward the cemetery. The markers had changed. Now they read, Dana Miles, April 17th, 2025. Matt Turner, April 17th, 2025. I stumbled back, heart pounding. You came back. The voice was right behind me. Calm, male, steady. I turned and saw Rob, or someone who used to be Rob. His eyes were sunken. His skin, waxy, like he was being preserved by something unnatural. They don't let you leave unless they let you, he said. You carried part of them out. That stone, it's not just a marker. It's a tether. They see through it, move through it. I tried to throw the rock away. It stuck to my palm like it was glued. Rob looked at me with something like pity. They feed on presence, attention, obedience. That's why no one remembers this place. People disappear, records vanish, but the town stays, always waiting. Where's Dana? I asked. He didn't answer, just pointed toward the shed. It looked newer now, like it had been rebuilt recently. I ran, threw open the door. Dana was there, sitting in the chair, eyes closed, not tied, just still. The ropes writhed on the floor like snakes. She opened her eyes slowly, not black, just tired. They showed me everything, she whispered. They want you to stay. If you do, I can leave. I stepped back. No, we're both leaving, now. Matt, she said, a tear rolling down her cheek. You already belong to them. You did the second you took their name. I didn't understand. Until I looked at the back of the shed door, carved there, just like before. Whitlock welcomes Matt Turner. Part 6 coming soon. The offering. I don't remember walking out of the shed. The next thing I knew, I was back in the cemetery, the markers glowing faintly with some inner light. A low chant replaced the humming now, a language I couldn't understand but felt in my bones. Ancient. Absolute. The black stone pulsed in my hand. Still stuck. Still warm. I looked back toward the shed, and Dana was gone. The door was closed. The ropes were gone. The air buzzed with static. A figure stood at the edge of the tree line. Tall. Inhuman. Its face was a blank, shifting blur, like dozens of faces flickering in and out of view. I felt recognition and terror at once. My feet froze. "You are the crack," it said. Its voice didn't hit my ears. It hit my mind. You looked. You remembered. You gave it form. I shook my head. I didn't give anything. I didn't choose this. You obeyed your curiosity. That was enough. It stepped forward. The trees behind it bent away like they feared it. You will stay. She will forget. Forget what? You. And then I saw her, Dana, on a forest path that didn't exist before. She walked forward slowly, blank-eyed, as if in a trance. A mist swallowed her steps. I screamed her name, but no sound came. My throat moved, but the world was silent. Like Whitlock had stolen even my voice. And then I heard something else. A whisper. Not from the being, not from the town. From somewhere deeper. The stone binds you, but a trade frees her. I didn't know who said it. It could have been me. Suddenly, a pressure built behind my eyes. Like the humming was inside my skull now, clawing out. I fell to my knees. Blood dripped from my nose. Offer yourself. Accept the name. Become the echo. I looked at the black stone. I knew what I had to do. I pressed it to my chest. The world cracked. Light poured out from the cemetery like a floodlight on an empty stage. The trees pulled back. The shed disintegrated into dust. And I felt Dana's presence vanish. Not die, just depart. Pulled from Whitlock like a weed from soil. The stone sank into my skin. And then I was standing on Main Street. Alone. But not empty. Because I am Whitlock now. The town is me. The humming is my heartbeat. The markers are not graves, they're memories. I walk the streets in silence. I see every corner. I know who's coming. I welcome them. Obey and stay. Question and perish. Whitlock never vanished. It simply moved. Part 7 coming soon. The new arrival, April 17th. I thought that would be the end. But towns don't end. They expand. I exist now in pieces. I feel the cracks in the sidewalks like veins. I sense the dust settling in the corners of the post office. I feel the footsteps of anyone who dares cross the invisible border of Whitlock, though they'll never know they've done it. Time doesn't move here, not the way it does out there. Here, it's always humming. Always 417. People come. I don't call them. Not exactly. But they hear something just like I did. They read a story online. They chase an image. They follow a whisper. And they arrive. Today, a boy came. Teenager, probably no older than 17. Camera strapped to his neck. Curious, hungry for a mystery. He walked straight into the general store. Picked up a tin of candy. Noticed the lights worked, but the clock was frozen. He called out. "Hello," I whispered back. He won't remember at first. Not when he runs. Not when the trees bend for him. Not even when the world blinks and he wakes up miles away. But he'll feel it. In the quiet. In the moments when clocks glitch. Or when he wakes up humming a tune he's never heard. And when he returns, because they always do, I'll be there. Waiting. Because Whitlock is no longer a place. It's a question. A pull. A name whispered in dark corners of the internet. And I am the answer. So if you're reading this, don't search the name, don't map the coordinates, don't try to prove it's real, because Whitlock doesn't need proof. It just needs you. End. If you like these stories and videos, make sure to like, comment, and share so we can make some money from ad revenue and continue getting better and better with our publications. We strive to donate a portion of everything we make to charities that make a difference. Let us know if there is someone or thing you want to support. Thank you for staying until the end and enjoying the story.